Hello friends and welcome to YouTube channel Freedom Tech, and in this session what we are going to learn. Friends, YOLO V10 latest YOLO version is also released, and in this session we are going to see how we can achieve object detection, then object counting, object tracking with the help of YOLO V10. So before we move to our practical, friends, if you learn something from our videos, please consider to subscribe our channel. Okay friends, thank you so much, and let's get started. So for that we are going to create a virtual environment. Simple. So let's just open the file manager, go to the downloads, and here we are going to create a new folder for our virtual environment. So just right click, new, and folder, and mention the name. You can mention any name. I will just mention V10. So V10 is our new folder. Inside that folder we are going to create our virtual environment. So V10 is the folder name. Let's just close the folder and open Tony Python IDE. This is what Tony Python IDE. Then go to the run config interpreter, and here it is. As you can see, new virtual environment. Just click on this option, new virtual environment. Then it will pop up this kind of window. Creating new virtual environment. After clicking OK, you need to choose an empty directory which will be the root of your new virtual environment. Means, as I mentioned, we create a V10 directory and we want to select V10 directory as our new virtual environment. So just click on OK, go to the downloads, and this is what our directory which we just created. Select it, select folder, and it will create our virtual environment inside V10 folder. As you can see, the process is started. Done. So just click on OK. Now as you can see, the path is changed here. C users free downloads and V10 scripts python.exe. So now we are working inside V10 directory where we have our virtual environment. Simple. So if you open the file manager, go to the downloads and V10 folder, here it is. As you can see, this is what our all the folder for virtual environment. So here we are going to install our YOLO V10. So for that I have create a new repository. Just open browser, and this is what repository, YOLO V10 object tracking and counting. I will mention link inside description box. You need to simply copy paste the link inside the browser. Then go to the code, download zip. It will download our zip format repository. As you can see, it's now downloading. So friends, we successfully download our repository. If I go here, downloads, so this is what our repository. Right click to the repository, WinRAR, and extract as a folder name. It will extract our repository. So this is what our repository. Again, if you go inside the repository, we have same folder, and inside that we have all the files which we want. Simple. So here I have created a text file which is imp.txt. As you can see, imp.txt. Just open it, imp.txt, and this is the repository for YOLO V10 which we want to use inside our virtual environment. So first what we want here, just open Tony Python IDE, go to the tools and open system shell, and here we want to mention our folder path. So just open file manager, just open new tab, go to the downloads, and this is what our folder V10, and here right click. As you can see here, downloads V10, just right click and copy address, open the shell which we open with the help of Tony Python IDE. As you can see, this is the shell which we open from tools, open system shell. As you can see, this is what our shell, and just paste the path. So paste the path which we copy. As you can see, this is the path which we have copied from here, V10. Right click, copy address, and just paste inside the shell which we will open with the help of Tony Python IDE. And here first mention cd command, cd space, and then our path. It basically we want to go inside our V10 directory. just hit enter. Now we are inside our v10 directory. So here where we now inside our v10 directory, here we want to copy paste our GitHub repository path. So again go inside our repository. So this is what our repository, again same folder, and we have imp.txt file. This is the repository, git clone. Just copy the repository, open our shell, and this is the path, and just paste it, and then just hit enter. Cloning into YOLO v10. As you can see, now it will clone the repository inside our v10 virtual environment folder. So now if you open again file manager, if you go inside downloads, our virtual folder v10, and here it is, as you can see, YOLO v10. This is what our folder, YOLO v10. Now again we want to go inside this folder, YOLO v10. So just open system shell, and now we are inside v10 folder, and inside v10 folder we have YOLO v10. So just mention cd plus YOLO v10. This is what our folder, hit enter. Now we are inside YOLO v10 folder. So if you open YOLO v10 folder, here we have requirements.txt file, which install YOLO v10 for only for our virtual environment. So we want to run this requirements.txt. So we are now inside YOLO v10 folder. Here just run the command pip3 space install space -r and our requirements.txt file. pip3 space install space -r space requirements.txt, and just hit enter. It will install all the packages which we need for YOLO v10. Simple. As you can see, the process is started. So friends, as you can see, we have completed our process. Now just close the shell, this one also, because it's extra. So we have done with installing YOLO v10 inside our virtual environment. Now again open our repository. So this is what our repository, inside downloads we have our repository, same folder again, and from this repository we need our files. So we need coco.txt, we need main1.py, we need main3.py, tracker.py, our video file, and this is the model YOLO v10s.pt. So select all this file, coco.txt, main1.py, main3.py, tracker.py for tracking our objects. So we need tracker.py. Then this is the video file which we are going to use, and this is the model YOLO v10s.pt. This is the model. So we need all this file. So just select all this file, right click, copy it, and go inside downloads v10 folder, which is our virtual directory, and then here we want to go inside YOLO v10 folder and just paste all the things which we have copied from our repository. Just paste it over here. As you can see, I have pasted all the things from our repository. The file name is coco.txt, main1.py, main3.py, tracker.py, video file, and our model YOLO by default model for object detection and tracking purpose, which is YOLO v10s.pt. Copy all the things from our repository to our virtual folder, download v10, and inside that v10 we have YOLO v10 folder, and just copy all the things over here. Simple. So we are ready. Now let's just open our first code, main1.py. So just open Thony Python IDE, and here it is. As you can see, we are inside our virtual environment. So just close untitled file, go to the file, click on open, go to the downloads, then v10, YOLO v10, and main1.py. Click on open. So here it is. As you can see, I have mentioned our module which is pre-trained YOLO v10 model for object detection purpose. And then one more thing, friends, because we are going to use here CVZone package. So for virtual environment we need to install CVZone. So just go to the tools, then manage packages, and search for CVZone. Hit enter. CVZone, click on install. It will install CVZone package. Done. Close it. So import cv2, import numpy as np, from ultralytics import YOLO, import panda as pd, cvzone from tracker. Inside our folder we mention our tracker.py. That's it. Same way, this is what our pre-trained model. Then this is the mouse event function, because we are going to use here cv2.line function, and then when our object touch the line, then we are going to save their id, and with the help of id we are going to count the object frequency. Simple. So for that, of course, we need mouse xy coordinates for drawing the line on the frame. So for that, we have here cv2.mouse event move function. Then this is what our video file. Then we are going to read, of course, our coco.txt file. Then this is the tracker is equal to tracker. This is how we call our tracker file, tracker class from our tracker file. And this is the method for object detection. As you can see, x1, y1, x2 and y2. This is the rectangle. When we detect our object, we have rectangle. And then, of course, the video file, let me show the video file. So inside our v10 YOLO v10 folder, we have our video file. So friends, as you can see, this is what our video file. Basically, we are going to detect cars from this road, and we are going to track all these cars. With the help of tracking, we are going to assign the id for each car, and then we are going to draw here a line. So we can simply say, because we have our object detection method, so we have rectangle, so we can simply create a center point for each rectangle. So when we create a center point, so we can simply create our condition. If the object center point touch our line, then we are going to save their id inside our dictionary, and then we are going to call the id from dictionary, and the length of dictionary is basically our counting. So this is what our video file. So we are going to basically detect here cars. This is what our goal: detect the cars, track the cars and count the cars. Simple. Also, we are going to save each car image inside our folder. When the car touch our line, we are going to save the car image with current date and current time. Simple. So let's just start with only detection. So if car in CC is basically our class list. So if car in C, we are going to call our tracker. So for activating our tracker, we want to send our object detector rectangle coordinates inside our tracker. So if the car in C, list.append, and what we are going to append? We are going to append our rectangle coordinates, which is x1, y1, x2 and y2. Basically, we are going to send our rectangle coordinates to our tracker file, and tracker will assign the unique id for each object. Also, it will track the same object with the help of our rectangle coordinates. So again, it will create a new rectangle coordinates. So bbox idx is equal to tracker.update. This is the method for updating our tracker. So tracker.update.list.append, we are appending our rectangle coordinates here. This is the list, and then with the help of tracker, again we will get our new coordinates. So for bbox, in this bbox idx, we have x3, y3, x4 and y4, and then we have id. New rectangle coordinates with the help of tracker and the id for each car. So all these things is basically our bbox. Simple. Then I have mentioned we need a center point for each car. So if we want our center point, so we are going to use here cx and cy. So cx is basically x3 plus x4 divided by 2. Cy is basically int y3 plus y4 divided by 2. That's it. Then we are going to draw our circle. Then we are going to put the id on the rectangle top left corner, and then we have our rectangle. Simple. So let me first stop our while loop. So if I save the code, if I run the code, so it started our first frame, as I mentioned, because this is the first frame I have stopped the while loop. So here it is, as you can see there is a rectangle and there is a unique ID for this car. So also there is a blue color center point. Here it is, as you can see there is a blue color center point. So for this car we have 0 is the ID. So let's just keep the frame. Just keep the frame for this car. Its tracker is tracking this car with the help of rectangle coordinates. So now this car from here, as you can see, we have 10 is the ID for this car. It's continue there, still there, 10, 10, 10, 10. Simple. So let's just start our while loop now. As you can see, for this car we have 0, for this car we have 1 over here. Now it's changed the ID 10 and now it's still continue 10, 10, 10, 10. Watch for next car. Basically we need a fixed ID. So if from this area to this area we have, for this car we have 79, so we can simply draw here our line. Simple. So now this is what our tracker. With the help of YOLO V10 we are tracking our object, we are detecting object. Now we want to create a counter. Simple. So for that, again let me stop a while loop. For that we are going to draw our line on the frame. So if I move my cursor over here inside shell, as you can see we have xy coordinates. So if I want to start the line from here, we have 3 and 385 and this is what end point for drawing line 1019357. So this is how we will get the line start point xy coordinate and line end point xy coordinate. So here I have already mentioned the line, this one, as you can see. Just remove the hash from cv2.line method, save the code. If I run the code and check if it is in line, we have to check our code is in line or not, otherwise it will give the error. Simple. So here it is, as you can see this is what our line in white color. This is what our line. So when the car center point touch our line, we are going to save their ID inside our dictionary. Inside our dictionary we are going to save their ID. So for that, for this condition we are going to use a line y coordinates, both start and end point. So this is the start point of line xy coordinate, this is the end point of line xy coordinates. So we are going to use this y coordinates as a cy1. Here it is, as you can see I have mentioned cy1 is equal to our line y coordinates, both end and start, 425, 425. Here I have mentioned 425, and then offset is equal to 6. And then as I mentioned, when the car center point touch our line, we are going to save their ID inside this down dictionary. So what is our condition? Here it is, I have mentioned the condition. I have mentioned the full code, no worry about the code, I have mentioned the full code. As you can see, this is what our line condition. So if our cy1, which is both start line y coordinates, end line y coordinates. So if the cy1, if it is less than cy plus offset and cy1 if it is greater than cy minus offset, means what is the condition? This condition meaning is basically when car center point, means here it is, as you can see the cy is basically center point. If the car center point touch our line, then only we are going to put our ID as a text, then we are going to draw a rectangle. Save the code and run the code. Now what I will do here, just there is a 0, so no problem. Now what will happen, when the car touch our line, then only we have a center point. Let me check here. Yes, I just want to mention hash for this code, because this code when we have our tracker, then for our knowing purpose we are drawing all the things, but now we have condition. So comment all the code where we basically drawing a circle, where we putting our text as a id, and where we have our rectangle. So just comment all these lines, because now we want to draw all these things after we match our condition. So here we mention our code again, cvzone put text and id and rectangle method. Now save the code, now run the code. Now as you can see, there is no rectangle, because this car is already past our line, so that's why there is no condition, and this car is not still past our line. So if I skip the frame, watch, when the car touch our center point, there is a red color rectangle and there is a id, means our condition is perfect. Now what is next? So when the car center point touch our line, we are saving this 10 id inside our dictionary. So we create here a dictionary down, and we are saving their unique id inside our dictionary. So for that, what we are going to do here, friends, let me mention over here, because we have only one side frequency, means we have only one side frequency for going car. So for this project, there is no need to save the id inside dictionary. We are directly appending the id inside our list. So here there is no need to create a dictionary. I will remove the dictionary from the repository, no worry, because we only want to count one side frequency. If I want to count a both side, means for downside or for upside, then we want to save each car id inside our dictionary. But right now we have only one side car's frequency, so there is no need to save the dictionary. So there is no need to save the id inside dictionary. We are only appending the id inside our list. Simple. So here it is. As you can see, when we match our condition, we have basically list car down, which is our list. This is what our list, as you can see, empty list, and inside that we are appending the id. So here, when the car touch our center point for the line, it's basically counting same id again and again. So for that, create a condition. I have explained all these things several times. Same code, same way for YOLO V10. Same code, same way. I have mentioned the full code. Simple. So if the list car down dot count id, means please don't count same id again and again. Please don't count same id again and again. And then here I have create a car down variable, length of our list car down. Length of our list car down is basically our counter, and then we are going to put our counter on the frame. 50, 60 is the coordinate, and car down is the name of our counter. So now let's just start our while loop. Save the code and run the code. Now watch the counter. As I mentioned, this car is already passed, so it will not count. So car down is 0. So from this car we are starting our counter. 1, we count one car. 2, 3, 3 count. This one is 4, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6. As you can see, there is a red color rectangle. 7, 8. So we are successfully counting our car. So this is what our first code, where we detect our object with the help of YOLO V10. We track our object. Also we create a counter. Now we want to save each car image inside the folder. For that I have created a new code inside our YOLO V10 folder. We have main3.py code. As you can see, main3.py. So same code, only we add here from datetime import datetime, from datetime import datetime. Also we import OS because we want to create a folder. So it will create a new folder which is images name. If there is no folder, it will create a folder images, and when we have detection, here it is, as you can see, when we have detection, it will crop the rectangle coordinates, which is y3, y4, x3 and x4. This is how it will crop the images of our rectangle. Means rectangle is basically our image, what we detect, our object, and then it will resize our image and it will assign the timestamp. As you can see, this is the timestamp. This is how we call our timestamp in Python. It will assign the timestamp and it will save all the images along with their current time and their timestamp inside images folder. Same way, so this is the main3.py code for saving each car image when the car touch our line with the center point. So let's just start this code. So right now there is no countdown. First car, we counted first car. So if you open downloads V10, where we have our YOLO V10 folder, and inside that, as you can see, it's created in images folder right now 1348 and time is 1348. So it's created images folder, and inside that, as you can see, there is images. There is images. So if you open the images, as you can see, there is a new image. So this is what our cars images. As you can see, it's saving all cars images. When our cars touch our line, it's saving all cars images inside our images folder along with the current date. So today's date is basically 10/6/2024 and current time is 13:14:34 seconds. Simple. So if you open the images, as you can see, we have all car images inside our images folder. So friend, this is how with the help of YOLO V10 you can detect object, you can track object, you can create a counter, also you can save all the detected object images inside folder. I hope you will learn something from this video. We'll meet our next video. Till then, thank you, take care, and bye bye.